Hello, and thank you for tuning in. This series is going to be called Telephony Hijacking for Salesforce Admins. Essentially, the concept of telephony hijacking is you have the need for a phone to ring in Salesforce, but at the end of the day, the tool that you are implementing with Salesforce does not give you the functionality or the controls in Salesforce that you want or need as a Salesforce admin. This concept is something that I came up with for a UJET implementation, but you can use it for really any type of telephony integration that fits the right criteria. And if you, whether it's you want more control, whether you have custom objects that you're trying to do things with, or have custom things happen. I haven't seen anything like this before. It was just kind of like a aha moment for me. So I thought that I would throw it on the internet and share it. So there are a few things that need to happen in order for this to work, and I'll use UJET as an example just because I think it's it's the one I can speak to the clearest. Essentially, when a phone call hits Salesforce through the UJET platform, there's a few things that happen. So the first thing is a UJET session record is created, which is just a record that says there was a phone call. Then UJET does a lookup to see, is there a contact related to this phone number? Finds that contact. If there isn't a contact, then it creates a new contact, and then it loads that contact on the page. So we have a record for our phone call, and then the contact loading on the page is really the main criteria that has to happen first. Additionally, depending on the telephony provider that you're using, you will likely have some kind of installed package or something like that that you're using. So just that's going to be another component. You'll have to tinker around with that, figure out how that works, how things behave there. The big thing for me was I wanted to be able to just make things more efficient when it came to how the phone system lives and breathes and behaves in Salesforce. There's custom objects that the team that I'm supporting interacts with that we may need to surface some things or do some things that UJET just couldn't handle without this custom interaction or custom work being done. I basically have a screen flow. I also have a downloadable flow action from unofficial Salesforce. I'll share the link in the comments or in the description of this video. I'm going to turn my camera off so you can actually see the landing page here. This is unofficialsalesforce.com/navigate-everywhere-flow-action. This flow action is pretty cool because in most flows, you're looking at records and you're updating them, or you're doing a screen flow to gather information, and then you're doing something with those variables down the road. This is a screen flow action, so it's only available for screen flows. But then it also lets you take it a step further and say, this record ID, I want you to actually load this record on the page so that the user who's interacting with Salesforce, like, now there's a record in their face. So this is a pretty cool thing. It's actually, there's other use cases for it outside of telephony hijacking, but I am very grateful that this exists because telephony hijacking would not be possible without it. So thank you, unofficial Salesforce. Big plug right there. So as I said, when a phone call is delivered in Salesforce, there is a record that's being created. That's the first criteria that has to happen, and then the contact needs to be related to that record. So that's going to look something kind of like this. So I have my telephony test object. This could be something with Vonage, could be something with UJET, whoever. The status right now is connected, and the contact is related contact, or my test contact right now. So this is obviously not real. This is just a simulation, so you can kind of get a test and feel for what would happen. So this record's created, and then in the back end, UJET or Vonage or whoever is actually loading that contact on the page. So they won't see this record. What they'll see is something more like this, where we have our contact on the page. I've got a screen flow right here. You can kind of see it's doing something. Actually, if I refresh this, that will go away. Refresh the whole thing. Never mind, it's not going to go away. That's fine. I thought my entry criteria was different. Apparently I'm wrong. that's totally fine. And then basically I have a flow. So telephony hijacking demo flow. So what this is doing, it's passing the record ID from our contact, and then we're getting that contact. And then it's looking for any related telephony test object record where the related contact is our contact from our record ID, and a call status is connected. That's why that loaded and I didn't think it was going to, is because I thought I had it further down the line, but connected is perfect. So we only want one because we only care if there's a current active call with our test telephony contact record here. Hypothetically, as the phone call moved on, the call ends, there's wrap up time, and then the call is marked as complete. So there would only be one connected status telephony record per phone call going on per contact at a time. So that works in this scenario. And then we have a decision. So did we find a test object record in this case? So is the record ID null? If it's true, then we're not on an active call. If the contact is on an active call, then we want some things to happen. I tried to keep this simple. So if I look at our cases that we have in this this sandbox environment, I've got 3 different cases, 2 of which have the subject of test case 1, test case 2, and then this one is a closed case. You could technically filter out, I want to separate, when we look at our screen flow here, you could separate these into different categories. So for instance, if you wanted to have open cases, closed cases, opportunities, you can list out, all these different things. It just adds complexity to the demo, so I didn't do it. But this is just to get the gears turning for you. So in this case, we're looking for related cases where the contact is our contact, and we're getting all of the records on our screen here. We are just pulling in the subject as our field to go off of to display on the radio buttons. So when we go back to our contact, you see test case 1, test case 2, test case 3, which was our closed case. Again, that's just because our choices are configured that way. And I can actually go into the choice just so you can see the full setup here. So it's using our collection of get related cases. We're going off of the subject, and then we're storing the ID from that. That's the choice value here. And then based on whatever the end user selects, so let's say I select case 3 closed and then I hit next. Now it automatically opens up this for me. Now again, you can take this a step further, which is what I've done in other examples, is you can actually create logic that says if this call came in through this queue, then I want you to automatically go and load whatever, say, opportunities. Let's say this person has an opportunity, find the most recent one, load that on the page automatically when the contact loads. So that's something that you can do. In this case, I'm having it stop and say, pick a thing to load. So again, we can just keep opening all of these. Hypothetically, you probably wouldn't want this to just sit here and wait, but whatever you want to do. This is your hijacking session. And then this is our action from unofficial Salesforce. And so the destination type is record. The destination action is view. And then the record ID is the related cases button from our screen, which is right here. Related cases button. So that is what that is. That button is storing that as an ID. So then we can reference that ID right here, and that's what's causing that to work. So really at a high level, that's how this works. And then the other part is if they're not on an active call, person's just perusing through Salesforce. We don't necessarily want this thing to work every single time. That might be overkill, especially if you're automatically having it load records. If I want to view a contact, I don't want an opportunity to automatically open as well. You can have this other screen here, which says you aren't on an active call. Keep up the good work. Have a great day with Baby Groot. And so to see that in action, we come back here to our telephony record, say the call ends. Refresh our contact here. And instead of getting the related records, we're getting baby group. So that, in a very quick, very high level, is telephony hijacking for Salesforce admins. If you have questions, definitely leave them in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and share this everywhere, because this is pretty dope. You can do some cool stuff. Thanks for your time.